Manchester United seriously interested in signing Gittens from Dortmund. This is not the first time we've been linked to the English winger, and with Garnacho, Antony, and Rashford exits looking like something that could happen in 2025, United will be needing attacking reinforcements. Garnacho's sale, what is the latest? A 40 million bid has been rejected. Tier 1 sources like Ornstein and Whitwell and Romano have all confirmed that there is interest from Napoli in Garnacho. They really like him. He is the dream signing, but United will only sell if Napoli bids 60 million. So will Napoli bid 60 million? What is the latest on that? Is Gary Neville right about United putting Garnacho up for sale, putting Maino up for sale, PSR? What are the issues there? We're going to talk about the Diallo show yesterday, and then Ruben Amorim makes some interesting comments on the Manchester United match yesterday, talking about the struggles and saying he learnt a lot. So we're going to dive into Ruben Amorim's pretty brutal but honest comments, because I think Amorim gets his comments spot on. We're going to start with the transfer news, but before we even get into the transfer news, can we just say thank you, Diallo, because I was stressing for those first 75 minutes or so versus Southampton, because I was thinking, if we lose, this is relegation battle with 15th. And Diallo has honestly saved us from a complete embarrassment yesterday with an unbelievable 10-minute hat-trick to put us in 12th in the league. Now, 12th is a lot better position to be than 15th, but it's still not good enough. But if we'd have lost to Southampton, I would have started to have relegation fears. And I'm not even being reactionary. But let's get into the news. Let's get into the stories, because this is your Man United 10-minute news roundup. So Florian Plettenberg said that Manchester United is seriously interested in Dortmund winner Jamie Gittens. Now, we can only afford him if Garnacho leaves. I think Dortmund would want 60 million for Gittens. Now, there's obviously parts of me that's skeptical. Buying another player from the Bundesliga that's young from Dortmund, it doesn't often work out with players in the Premier League. But when I've watched Gittens, I've really liked the player and I've been really impressed with him. He's been linked to Manchester United a couple times before. He's direct, he's quick, and if we're going to lose Garnacho, we're going to lose Rashford. He is one of definitely the top talents out there in terms of players about. I still like the idea of maybe Matheus Cunha or Semenyo because I've seen them in the Premier League. And I know that Premier League players are more overpriced, but I think I'm always skeptical bringing someone that looks really good in the Bundesliga in. But he's also looked really good in those Champions League games for Borussia Dortmund. He's a really good and exciting talent, only 20 years of age, really progressive player, likes to get forward, very, very exciting. So we'll have to see what happens, but I think he's one of the best dribblers in football in terms of ball carrying, in terms of dribbling, and Ruben Amorim will like that. So look, I'd happily see Gittens at Manchester United. He's young, he's raw. My only fear is just how players in the Bundesliga do really well and they come to the Premier League and not so much. That's my only fear around it. But I think he'd be a good signing. But I do like Semenyo, I do like Mbuemo, and I really do like Matheus Cunha as well as options to boost the attack. Other stories come out and said that Dortmund failed talks to sign Rashford on loan and they're pushing for him. We know that Dortmund really like Marcus Rashford and they're pushing for him on loan, but it looks like Milan or Barcelona is the more likely of the two. Now, what I will say in regards to Marcus Rashford to Dortmund is, could it free up some kind of path for Gittens to United? I'm not sure. I think it would have to come through a Garnacho sale, but potentially that could allow Dortmund to sell Gittens. But again, I don't see any big signings happening till the summer unless Garnacho is sold. So what is the latest in regards to Alejandro Garnacho's future, and will he be sold? So it was said that Napoli have contacted Manchester United for Alejandro Garnacho, but the club are not actively looking to sell him. And the figures Napoli have mentioned so far are from the value that would make the club think. Now, Napoli will only sell Garnacho if Napoli bids 60 million. So if Napoli bids 60 million, then Man United will sell. But Napoli right now are bidding 40 million, just over 40 million, 60 million, and United think about it. Other sources say this: Napoli started formal negotiations with Manchester United for Garnacho, who is their preferred replacement for Kvaratskhelia. United are asking for 70 million. Ben Jacobs says that United are not actively looking to sell Garnacho or pushing to sell Garnacho. They were only entertaining offers of 60 million. And there's a 10 million valuations difference between Napoli and United for Alejandro Garnacho. Napoli's offer is 45 million euros, where United want 55 million euros. They could meet halfway. So one source is saying they'll sell for 50 million. I think 60 million, because it's January, because we don't really have any replacements lined up, would get a deal done. Now, reportedly, Garnacho himself is open to the Napoli move. There were some reports saying he's even said yes to Napoli, almost agreed terms, and Napoli have spoken to him. I don't know the truth in that, but I don't think Napoli would be making bids for Garnacho unless they thought there was a possibility that this deal could happen. He has also said that Napoli will send Manchester United an increased offer from their previous 38 million bid. So maybe 48 million is when Man United start thinking about it, add-ons, get it up to 60 million. Although Luckhurst is now saying this morning that Napoli are unlikely to meet Manchester United's valuation of Garnacho and are now exploring other targets. Napoli had an offer of 40 million rejected, and that Manchester United rejected Napoli's 40 million bid for Garnacho as it falls below the valuation of the players. Napoli bid for Garnacho, we rejected it. Will Napoli come back and bid again? I think it's the guy they want. Garnacho's maybe given some indication he's open to the move. I think this is one to watch. I know the priorities are selling Rashford and Antony, but no one wants Antony, and Rashford's wages are difficult. But I think this is one to watch because while the club want Rashford and Antony gone, Garnacho's going to be the easiest to sell because he's on normal wages and we can actually get good money for him. The question is, will Amorim want to sell a player so young who's got so much potential? Or is Amorim saying, well, he doesn't fit the system in the pockets, maybe I should cash in on him while I can get money? Napoli's plan is to convince Garnacho to join them and then hope Man United lower the valuation, says Di Marzio, which says to me that then they won't land Garnacho. They bid 70 million, then 60 million, then United sell him. Muppeteer said, as mentioned 3 days ago, Napoli are interested and have given encouragement from players' representatives. Clubs aren't actively trying to sell Garnacho and Napoli haven't been making bids. United firm in their valuation for now. They said Napoli haven't been making bids, but every reliable source has said they have, and Simon Stone is very reliable, so I don't believe that bit. But United are not trying to push Garnacho out for financial reasons. But Napoli are interested. They're saying Napoli haven't bid, but more reliable sources saying Napoli have bid. So should United sell Garnacho or not? I'm in two minds because part of me saw the performance yesterday and thought, maybe if we sell him, we can afford a left wing back and attacker to boost the squad. But then the other part of me saying, unless you know there's a top left-sided player that you can bring in January and afford with the Garnacho money, what's the point? Like if we basically say, yep, cool, Garnacho's gone, but we can go and sign Semenyo from Bournemouth for 50 million. It's a different situation, but I don't think we'd be able to do that. I think if we sell Garnacho, the replacement options out there are very, very limited. Neville said this on the situation. He said on the sale of Garnacho and he'd be very unhappy because he didn't like when Chelsea did it, Villa did it, Newcastle did it, and he would not like it if United did it. I get when they're on the cusp of playing, but you cannot if they're in the first team. If Maino and Garnacho are starting for United, particularly Maino is under Ruben Amorim, he's going to be in the pivot with Ugarte most games. There's no point selling a player that is starting for your club right now. Unless Ruben Amorim says they are not a long-term fit for my system, there's no point. And I don't like the idea of forcing the academy graduates out for FFP, but if Amorim says, look, Garnacho doesn't fit what I want to do, fair enough. Continuing on, Owen Hargreaves said this, who came up with that rule? I hate it. Selling your academy players for profits, that's not football. Remember the class of 92? Premier League should incentivise clubs for bringing through players from the academy, but they're doing the opposite. I'd like to see Rashford and Garnacho. I wouldn't like to see Rashford and Garnacho leave United. I still remember Rashford's debut and I want to see Garnacho succeed at United. That's what the club's about. And it's true. It is sad to be losing academy players, but we also have to rebuild and do what fits Ruben Amorim, but also for PSR reasons. It's annoying if we do sell for those reasons. Now let's talk about the talented boy, the special kid in Manchester United, Amad Diallo, who said after the game, I'm ready to play in any position, whether the manager likes to put me, I will fight for the club. Did well at right wing back, but he needs to be closer to goal because the only two players in this Man United team that can do something and score is Amad and Bruno. So at least one of them needs to be closer to goal. And as we were pushing closer to goal in those last 10 minutes, he got his goals. Amad says, we know we have quality players in the team. We need sometimes to be more hungry in the final third. Today we showed us at the end we are the best team. I'm happy for the win today because the team deserves this. Did we deserve to win? I think Amad deserved to win for what he did in the last 10 minutes, but the performance for the first 70 minutes was not good enough. Amad Diallo has now scored 6 and assisted 5 in 1,009 minutes under Amorim in all competitions. That's a goal assist every 92 minutes. But what has Ruben Amorim got to say on this game? And I'm going to talk about this in more detail later, but Ruben Amorim said in the first half, every time Amad has the ball, he pushes the other team to the final third. That type of player is very important. Ruben Amorim said that on Amad, and he's the best ball carrier, he's the best player in the pockets, he's the best passer, he's the best creator. He is right now been our best player since Ruben Amorim's come in with Ugarte. I think Bruno's obviously unbelievable quality. He had an off game, but yeah, he's top. Ruben Amorim said on how long until United will be comfortable in a system, and he said we need training. I don't know how long it will take time. The profile sometimes you can understand it's not the right one. And what Ruben Amorim is saying is he needs to get the right profiles in and have time training with the squad for us to be at our best. He said that we had difficulties in that Southampton game. The team is not used to, pressing high at the moment. There was a lack of enthusiasm there. He's spot on. Ugarte is late. Kobbie Mainoo is late. They looked a little bit tired. Bruno is going outside and the ball is inside. The one transition and Euro cannot catch the guy. It's the small things we get nervous about. And please lean off on Lenny Euro. Whoever was doing Lenny Euro's role was going to have a nightmare. That guy is unbelievably rapid. Sonic the Hedgehog could not catch him. Ruben Amorim said it's a different system, so completely different to what they're used to doing. The profile you can understand is sometimes not the right ones, but we have to improve players. We know the situation of the club. We need to continue. He's saying he needs to improve the players, learn the profiles of the players, get the best out of the squad in training. But he's also basically saying, I need players in that can play my football and suit my system. And maybe that is why they're looking to sell Garnacho. And he said, I want to be fair with my players. Today was not lack of enthusiasm, it was lack of speed and sometimes lack of control of the game. And I agree to an extent. I felt that Southampton were more up for it, but I thought we had the enthusiasm towards the end. But we lacked speed, we lacked control, and Anthony missed sitters. Garnacho missed a good chance, and we created the chances to win the game, but Southampton also created chances to score a lot more. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. Bye.